Hi. So it's been a while since I've posted on my social media accounts, speaking directly to my followers and I guess people who don't follow me as well. But today is World Bipolar Day, and it's meant to spread awareness around the condition and remove the stigma around bipolar as well as other mental health conditions. Why this is significant is because I was diagnosed bipolar 1 in October of 2023. It changed my life forever, and it took me a couple of years to kind of find my baseline again. So, with that being said, I wrote a book and it is available for purchase. There's an ebook, audiobook, and soundtrack. There's a link in my description below, or you can go to arianascott.org to learn more about me and my mental health journey. I look forward to kind of talking to individuals about what I've gone through, and hopefully it helps people realize that they're not alone. In the meantime, I have included in this clip just a 4-minute audiobook sample of My Awakening, A Phoenix Reborn, The Tales of a Bipolar Survivor. I hope that you check it out. Bye.
My Awakening, A Phoenix Reborn, The Tales of a Bipolar Survivor by Ariana Renee Scott. Introduction. I did not realize a cloud-9 moment heightened by a standing ovation would result in suicidal thoughts and a 1-week involuntary hospitalization filled with restraints, mandated seclusion, and a future bipolar 1 diagnosis. How could one endeavor jumpstart a downward spiral for 3 months? At least, that's what I thought. One particular event was in fact just the last straw that broke an overloaded back, which forced me to reevaluate my life and how I had been operating for the last 33 years of my life. After reflecting on my experiences, it dawned on me that there was somehow a disconnect between what I was doing and the external factors that played a major role every step of the way. Is it possible that my symptoms were being ignited by the consumption of food and medicine, in addition to high levels of stress, adrenaline, and euphoria? What were the triggers that ultimately resulted in this outcome? What was I missing? Taking a step back, I began to document a timeline of my life to determine when there was a shift in my body, and that was extremely easy to discover. February 2023 was when I first went to urgent care after being prescribed spironolactone for hormonal acne and experienced what I thought was an allergic reaction. At that point, I was then prescribed methylprednisolone to help alleviate my severe symptoms. I began taking this medicine for 10 days, and throughout this time, something still did not feel quite right. One day in particular, I remember my stomach hurting extremely badly, and I felt cold internally. So I decided to go back to urgent care to figure out what was going on. My father happened to call me as soon as I arrived. I informed him that I was at the urgent care facility and would call him back. I walked up to the counter, told them I needed to be seen, and was informed that it would be a 1-hour wait. At that point, something unexpected happened. I started shaking, crying uncontrollably, and expressing that I was feeling hot. The doctor left the room, and my husband called to check on me. I answered, but all I could do was sob, and he said, "I'm on my way." He rushed over and arrived 5 minutes later. The personnel directed him to where I was, and he immediately attempted to try and figure out what was going on with me. The doctor asked if he knew whether or not I had taken anything that might have caused my symptoms, and I handed him my phone. He said, "Yes, she writes everything down, and I can tell you exactly what she has been taking." He went to hand them the phone to try and show what I'd documented, but for some reason, they did not take it or make note of any of the medicine. Instead, they proceeded to say there was nothing they could do for me and that they were going to call 911 so that an ambulance could take me to the nearest emergency room. He looked at the doctor with exasperation and confusion. Once they left, my mother called. My husband answered, and she could hear that I was crying. He did his best to explain what was happening, but none of it made sense. The EMT unit arrived and proceeded to try and get me on the gurney. This sent me over the edge. I started to say, to tell my mom that I love her. He hugged me and reassured me that nothing bad was going to happen. At that moment, I thought that I was dying and would never see him or the rest of my family and friends ever again. This was the first sign that something was wrong. I wish we knew then what we know now.